a bit foreseen. Again, Pabu has not a champion ocean. I think Cadril called it a champion planet the other day. So going to go to that one. Now we're going to keep our eyes on where RNG go. We know things like the Kindred are still open, but honestly, I think Kindred's a very situational pick, even with the buffs that she has received. A lot of her powers in the Lambs Respite and being really good against, I'd say, Wombo combo type team comps. But hey, it doesn't matter. I don't have to talk about Kindred anymore because we get the Volibear. Yep,
that is Volibear and Leona. Already locking things up there for the jungle most likely, and the bottom lane potentially for Gala and Ming, although it is also potentially for Volibear as well. That could go top lane for Xiaohu also, as looks like Chazz might just be falling back to Victor. Lee Sin is up and available. He did have a good performance on it against UL yesterday. But it looks like it is going to be Kaisa here for Praedyth instead. I do like that they're, giving Praedyth that comfort. They're expecting, this is the lane they probably want to play through, even though it's always tough going up against the LPL bottom lanes. I think Pentanet's plan of winning through bot is likely their best one in this group.
Yeah, and you made a good point about the Lee Sin. Kind of surprising to see neither team touch that one. And again, I think jungle plus your bottom lane is the best in your first 3 picks, unless you are willing and able to pick up one of those flex picks and cause a bit of chaos and confusion in draft for the enemy team. To no surprise, we see PGG banning out some champions that Xiaohu is known for. And, something about the Jace is Cryin has even been playing it in solo queue in the mid lane as well, so it is more of a flex pick. And on the opposite side, RNG say, hey, we know Lee Sin hasn't been touched yet, but we still want to get that one out of here.
Silas, also a really good ban. I think a champion is rapidly rising in priority here as well, especially with how many good ultis are running around, even in the jungle, which we've seen a lot, although not this game, of course, because many junglers have been banned away. So what is the last ban here for RNG, and where do PGG want to go with the rest of the picks as Victor gets taken off the board there? Just power picks being taken away from Pentanet here by RNG in phase 2.
Honestly, I think this is a tough one because ideally you'd want something that can set up for that Nidalee in the mid lane, but there really isn't too much open. You could go back to something extremely old and pick up something like the Set, but I think that would be a bit tough blind picking Set and having that potential flex. But they're gonna go towards the Urgot, so wanting to take that one after what they've seen last match. And ooh, Pastry getting a bit of early game power on the side of RNG.
Yeah, gonna be Syndra there for Cryin. Not a champion we've seen a whole lot of this tournament, but has seen at least one play that I can remember pretty vividly. Showmaker, unsurprisingly, looking pretty good on just about any champion that gets given over on Damwon. But our last pick is gonna be Gnar. This is very safe for RNG. Really keeping it simple here, not wanting to potentially get overwhelmed by some aggression that Pentanet are likely going to be throwing out here, and keeping it nice and stable. Oh, do it! Yes, it's Qiyana, baby!
And we were talking about this one quite a bit, Pastry. You're going to get the Yell Supreme display of talent. It's going to be fun for everyone. And this mid lane matchup is going to be very volatile. You're going to want to see junglers involved. Of course, Cryin going to have the advantage early on, but Chazz will have the opportunity to make some big pop-off plays.
I love it. I said it yesterday. Off air, I said it to you right before we went on, actually. Looking forward to a Qiyana game, and it is going to be a Qiyana game here for Chazz. He has been spamming it. It is a champion that I think has been notably missing from a lot of mid lanes, and even though I think it is a bit more situational, when you can pick her, she is exceptionally powerful. So if there was ever a time to bring out the Qiyana, it is a game like this for Pentanet. So we're very curious to see how it shakes out.
Yeah, and again, drafts from both sides are really fun, really interesting. I love all the early game power coming out from RNG. Not only do we have the skirmishing Volibear as, Mr. Shades right now, having a bit of fun, but not only do we get the early skirmishing power from the Volibear, we also do have the lane dominance in the Syndra. And I love that once again, RNG are doing this thing where they're setting up Cryin to have a big game.
Yeah, I think mid lane's actually going to be pretty fun to watch. Both Chazz and Cryin going to be pretty important here in this game, even though I imagine Pentanet are going to be looking again towards that bottom side of the map. Biopanther going to have to just keep things nice and safe there on the Urgot, although into the Gnar, despite it being Xiaohu, who's having a very good tournament so far. Biopanther probably feeling like, can hold his own. It's going to have to be the plan most likely. As a Royal going to take the rift one more time, looking to go undefeated, the most undefeated they could possibly go, in fact, because they do, of course, have extra games to play in this group. Sadly, it is only a 3-team group, but luckily for us, it means we get more RNG. This time, it's Pentanet that are going to be the challenges here. UL already dispatched for one game today. We'll see if Pentanet have anything else to say about it, despite picking up a loss just last game to Unicorns of Love.
Yeah, and a really interesting thing I think coming into this game is we set up how PGG is this team that wants to play around their bot laner, right? They want to set up Praedyth to be that massive carry. As Pabu already finding a bit of damage on the way, but this draft signals, hey, we are playing around our soul lanes. We especially want to see Pabu linking up with Chazz. Again, when it's Qiyana, it's all about that level 3 mark, looking for those all-ins. Very weak champion at level 1. And then I also think just very interesting overall because of the build she's able to go for. Really likes to go for an early Serpent's Fang, and you see 2 champions on the opposite side that do have shields. Very efficient item. And Pastry, I just love when we get off-meta picks that are new. And, you know, we get to talk about them.
I'm sad it's off meta. I want this to be on meta. Qiyana, I think, is very good, and I wish more people would pick her up. Perhaps that will change as the tournament continues. But I'm curious, Luke, what do you think of like the 1v1 matchup in general? I know that level 1, Qiyana, as you mentioned, obviously quite weak, but to me, I always felt like this is a little bit like Echo versus Syndra, where you have to outplay the Syndra. But you can trade very effectively if you can by dodging her skill shots. Obviously, the difference is that Echo's ulti, gets him out of jail for free, and Qiyana's ulti can only all-in someone. But I'm curious to see what your thoughts are on that 1v1 matchup in mid.
I think it is a bit rougher, right? Because one of the things, I like the Echo comparison because it's one of the go-to matchups we see against Syndra, is that Echo also has a very low cooldown wave clear ability in his Q. So typically you'll see him go for an early back, look for something like a Dark Seal and be able to push that wave. Qiyana doesn't really have any type of option for that. For her, it's all about the all-in and looking for the kill. It is cool that she has some dashes so she can try and outplay the Scatter of the Weak, because that's really the only time she'll be under threat of Cryin looking for that solo kill. We talked about that level 1, and you're seeing it on your screens. For Chazz to win this matchup, he either needs Cryin to misplay at level 6 in my mind, find a really nice Supreme display of talent, and then he could probably find that 100-0. Or 2, what we really want to see is, again, link up with Pabu starting at that, level 3, probably level 4 mark, because we're going to see a full clear coming out from Pabu.
Yeah, going to be level 2, no CS. Oh, actually, 1 CS, I take it back there for Chazz, but going to be much easier for him to try and hit these minions here. Goes invisible there with the grass Q. It's been a grass W. It's been a while for Qiyana, but is able to farm a little bit better. But again, expecting this to be a struggle, especially early on in the CS. I also just noticed they both have Ignite, which is very fun. So I expected this from Chazz, wants to be aggressive now at level 3. He's going to be much more willing to get in and try and trade. But Cryin saying, you know what, I don't need TP in this matchup. I'll fight you too.
Yeah, he wants to go for the early game pressure. We saw Syndra fall out of the meta because she has a lot of mana problems early on. I still don't think it's a pick that is completely gone. We especially saw it fall out of favor with more mid lane mages coming into the meta, and Verdant Barrier being so strong. So I think this was a really good spot for Syndra to come in. And now the thing to me is like, hey, what's Wei gonna do? Because we've talked about Pabu, but hey, we're seeing it right now.
Yeah, ganking bottom lane is apparently what he's gonna do. Really good vision though for PGG, but still the play is gonna happen. Cleanse will be forced out there from Praedyth, but that's all they need to use, as Wei did flash in for that play.
Yeah, so not only do they get a summoner, but the thing that's really key is what we're seeing on our screen right now is that they're denying gold and EXP away from Praedyth. So they're setting up this lane to where Gala and Ming are gonna be able to dominate the 2v2 on their own. They're gonna naturally have an advantage in base stats and in items, because look at that CS difference right now. Yes. Absolutely massive.
Only getting worse. It's going to be 20 by the time they finish off this wave, or just about. In fact, Void Seeker picked up one for Praedyth, but Wei's like, you know what? Ming, if Ming is the person that builds up the dual lanes in my team, perhaps I'll be the tri-laner here, as Wei is just still down towards the bottom side of the map as Chazz goes in the mid. Procs Electrocute, dodges the Scatter of the Weak, now ignites it down. Chazz with the first blood on the table is gonna grab it!
And absolutely massive from the Oceanic mid laner. We've talked about Chazz being one of the bright spots of this team. Really nice dodge out on those key abilities from Syndra like we were talking about. And again, he punishes Cryin. You have this very aggressive, very volatile matchup. And whoever gets the first solo kill, this matchup can swing extremely hard, extremely fast.
Yeah, we'll have to see how it continues to potentially snowball, but Chazz with a very nice outplay there to grab himself some first blood gold. Gonna have to go back now, though, as Cryin also has to walk back to lane. That's one of the downsides of not having TP for either side, is that you do have to take the long walk of shame back to mid if you get yourself solo killed. Well, let's watch this again, because it was beautiful the first time. It's gonna be great the second.
Yeah, I love it. Ease in immediately, dodges the first abilities coming out from Cryin, and then uses his W to dodge the Scatter of the Weak, finds the all-in, hits all of his abilities because he's in melee range, layers on the Ignite, and you'd love to see it. The staff of PGG are popping off.
Wait, how is he still watching the game with the sunnies on? Never mind. All right. Pabu over in the top side is going to take down these Krugs. Level 6 on the horizon, but not there just yet. Biopanther been having a fine time. It's been pretty isolated here for both these top laners. Which for Xiaohu is maybe a bit of a newer thing, but Bio certainly this tournament has been left alone. Great Scatter of the Weak there for Cryin, but not level 6 for the Syndra. It is both supports ready for the 2v2 that I think they both predict is happening. As Chazz, as a result, is going to play back a little more. Knows that it's not too far for Cryine's level 6, and the matchup is very different when they both have access to ultimate versus just one.
Yeah, it's going to be definitely Chazz having to be more conscious of that, 100-0 potential coming out from Cryin. Still is ahead in EXP and levels, as we see on our screen. And, we mentioned, once again, another great trade. We mentioned the Serpent's Fang, but when it comes to Mythics, Qiyana typically does go for that Prowler's Claw, so going to give her another dash, going to give her another way to find access onto that back line. And we just need to keep saying, again, typically it's all about Praedyth, but in my mind, in this game, it is going to be all about Chazz. You have immobile backliners in Varus and Syndra. If you can find a really nice angle to come off on the side, we did see Chazz struggle with that last game, but this game you layer down that supreme display of talent, and instantly Praedyth, Pabu, and Biopanther could just start charging in.
And you know what? The teams are showing us that it is also about mid lane right now. There's been like 8 people circling around mid between both teams as Chazz has actually found himself a roam timing here, but looks like he is going to back off. I take it back as over the top he goes where he's going to be found. He locks him up. Supreme display of talent is going to give Pabu the easiest kill he's ever gotten as now PGG maybe even going to go for the dive. They TP Biopanther in. The TP counter is coming in, but their diving Gala already is dead as Pabu's grabbed the double. It is going to be a trade back as they do fail the Nautilus, but now Cryin with a very nice cat of the week. He's going to have to let the rest of the team run, but Xiaohu pops in, finds 2 with the Gnar, gets them both with the wallop as well, and Cryine's going to be put in a Bio's blender as it's a massacre here in the bottom side of the rift as Biopanther should be able to take down Ming, but what else can they get here? It's a 2v1 and Biopanther can't even get that kill, and now Wei is walking back down. Leona's going to recall, and it is going to be a delayed ace almost as Biopanther will finally be felled by Xiaohu.
And that was all over the place from both sides. I love that PGG go with this plan. They get the advantage in the mid lane. We wanted to see them play more around bot. I want to see teams try to attack RNG in the bot lane, prevent Ming from being able to find these roams, and we're going to see here again, Chazz has the advantage, going to pop over the wall with the blasting plant. Supreme display of talent. He is instantly taken down. We do see members of RNG start to hover down because they know they're going to go for this dive. TP comes out from Biopanther, but again, PGG has a numbers advantage right now. Sure, one member does go down to turret. Decoy does die. I don't think it's too big of a deal, but Cryin with the scout of the week. And more action.
Chazz 1v2. Can he wiggle his way out? No, Flash does eat out of the Volibear. Out of the Volibear ulti, but Wei just slaps him down and says, no more pressure for you, mate. Nice one there for Wei to counterpunch in mid.
Pastry, I get it because, there was more action on a screen, but I'm pretty sad we didn't get to see the replay of Xiaohu's ult because that ult was absolutely beautiful coming out from him. And, while we're talking about Xiaohu, he is really known for finding these massive Gnar ultimates over in the LPL. I think it's some of his most beautiful plays. Honestly, you can probably make a highlight reel of like 10 different Gnar ultimates that hit between 3 to 5 people on numerous occasions, winning RNG the game. So that's something we need to keep our eye out for with RNG going forward.
Yeah, both Soul Lane is hitting their CCs perfectly. It was a 4-man stun from Cryin into the 2-man double stun there for Xiaohu. His bottom side is going poorly with Cryin finding the roam timing and just deletes poor Decoy.
Yeah, and they're going to be able to get more plates onto, their bot lane. They're going to be able to try to deny Praedyth a bit more. I think him walking up is a bit over-aggressive because RNG have another wave coming in. There are no tools, I guess, like Chains of Corruption, so not too big of a deal. We do see Pabu and Chazz both hovering around the bottom side of the map right now. And yeah, we do have a solid lead for RNG. We see it's about 3K gold, kind of came out of nowhere. But PGG are trying to answer. They're trying to punch back.
Yeah, Chazz does have the ice ready to go, so can lock somebody up here. Pabu also looking for it, but no wave here. It's going to be 3v2. June player talent in as Ming is going to go down to Praedyth. No, not even close. Aftershock procs and Ming just walks away.
Yeah.
Oh, Gala finds a snipe with the arrow at the end of it all. So it goes from almost getting a kill to not even close to getting a kill to getting killed.
Oh, and Wei now is going for it. Decoy might be caught.
He's out of there. Hook away. He knows it's not a bad time. Oh, Pabu actually looking to fight it. Take it all back. Pabu knows what's up. Gonna take down Wei. Chazz here actually getting Ming low. He gets the shutdown goal as he steals the support bounty. Flash Q from Decoy. I love the enthusiasm as Pentanet still fighting RNG blow for blow, which is not recommended, but it is entertaining.
Pastry, I might be an LPL caster, but I gotta be honest, Wei kind of ran it down in that moment. I guess I can understand what he was going for, right? Decoy hadn't used the dredge line to get out of there yet, but still, Yeah, that was not pretty coming out from RNG. Great from PGG to punish. I love what we're seeing from PGG. Again, they're going blow for blow against RNG. And there's always been a discussion of like, hey, what should you do against teams that are perceived as better than you? Do you look to scale? I'm going to stop.
He's okay. Oh, actually, he's not okay. Q ulti's gonna kill him. Chazz are gonna get the counter kill. Almost gets it. The level up's gonna save him. The minions couldn't quite do the work.
Yeah, and the coup de grace as well, coming in the extra HP. And oh my god, that was so back and forth. It looked like Cryin had killed himself as well, but you know, having confidence he can find that kill. A bit of a back and forth. Chazz obviously did jump in at the end to try to find one for himself, but yeah, very interesting. Going back to my last point though, right? We've always had this discussion. Should a worse team, you know, on paper try to outscale, or should they try to go toe-to-toe in the early game and try to, you know, find a bit of an advantage, maybe catch the enemy team off guard? I've always been in favor of the latter half. I feel like especially when you're facing teams who maybe have stronger laners than you or etc., going for those early game champions, going for more maybe unexpected or interesting picks like the Qiyana is always the way to go.
Yeah, I like the plan here as well. Just one again, this one was so close, but I mean, Chazz has nothing. No ulti, no ignite, and Cryan's got everything ready to go.
Yeah, hits the Scout of the Week till start it off, chains it into a Q and a W, and this is where Cryin knew he could get it, but we're getting more action.
Chazz has flash, but might have to use it pretty early. Over the up, the pity goes his way. Just jumps in there with the ulti and sends the mid laner back around the turret.
Yeah, and you know, we're gonna see that key items are gonna start coming out on both sides. Dustblade already picked up for Gala, while we talked about the Prowler's Claw being that item of choice for Qiyana. Chazz and Pabu trying to find something.
Oh no. No ulti here, but Chazz is going to, again, look to try and get some counterplay. Decoy also roaming in, does have the ulti ready on the Nautilus, but could be trouble in paradise. Here is Ming over the wall. They found it. They've got, no, they even have the vision. They did have one ward, and they just let it all the way. There is Ming. 1v1 Ignite. Q killed Ming. Is going to take down the support with a lot of help from Gala, but now the fight is continuing. Supreme display of talent already bursted out to try and fend them off as Chazz dives in. He knows he has to try and make something happen, but there is nothing there as Gala finds two, and RNG are rolling away with this game.
And it starts off with the MVP himself, Ming, finding that pick over the wall. Ends up having the base damage just because he's Leona. Leona has insane base damage to pick up that first kill. And then Gala this game saying, yo, I hear you guys are talking smack. I hear you're saying I'm a Kaisa one-trick. Pulls out this Varus, having a great game so far.
All right, we'll dive in the top side. I like that Pentanet aren't stopping, but at some point it's going to get tricky to keep fighting this way. There's 6,000 gold down as RNG take the first tower gold to boost that lead all the way up to 7k at 13 minutes. But you know what? Maybe they'll kill Xiaohu. Probably not when he goes Mega Gnar, which is pretty soon. But they're gonna try it here. Biopanther looking for the flippy, but does not find it. Decoy also joining the party. This feels, I'm not gonna say desperate, but very ambitious.
I like it though. He is Mega, he has ult, he has flash.
Biopanther gonna miss the first flip. Q's gonna land, he's Mega though. Pabu taking the tower, doesn't feel particularly good. Does land the Q, that's gonna be a kill. I take it all back. Pentanet find the dive.
That was actually pretty nice aggro juggling coming out from PGG with Pabu starting it off. Jumps out while the two-man finds the dive, comes back in, and Decoy is able to pick that one up. Biopanther using the ult to find the kill.
He's okay, he flashes out. Wade's gonna take the buff. Feels bad, man, but at least Praedyth's alive.
You know, I didn't expect to come into today's games and see PGG relying on Pabu, relying on Biopanther, relying on this top half of the map to be carries. And again, not that they haven't been. I think Pabu especially showing some good performances like in their one win against Unicorns of Love, but it's just typically been the opposite for the side of PGG. Still, we've already highlighted, gold is squarely in the favor of RNG. I think the cool thing about PGG's draft, though, is there's a lot of playmaking potential. Oh, Decoy.
Goodness gracious, that CC chain is too long. Cryin on a killing spree. Gonna take down Decoy. It's just got no chance in these engagements. Had the stopwatch, didn't really have a chance to press it, though, as Pabu's gonna try and steal away this blue buff. Xiaohu, they're gonna try and put a stop to that, and Pabu says, all right, you find this is your red buff, and Xiaohu says, now my life, your life, sorry, is mine, and over the wall they go, but the auto attacks follow as Pabu dies midair from the blast cone.
And those were just some blunders from PGG, right? Because you think about it, you're looking at the mini-map, Xiaohu's not showing on the wave. Syndra and Leona aren't showing on the wave either. You see Varus is pushing the wave deep in bot side, right? So you should know that Cryin and Ming are hiding in that side of the jungle. And for Pabu going in, I can kind of empathize, but still, you don't see Xiaohu. He can be walking from base. He can look for that counter action.
Panther looking in there, does try and get the flip. Chazz can get the ulti anytime he wants around this bit of terrain, but not enough there as he's not going to push the button. Doesn't feel like they maybe have enough burst. Biopanther did use his ulti, but unfortunately for him, does not result in a kill this time.
I'll be honest, Pastry, that's kind of why I kept talking. I thought, PGG aren't going to look for this. PGG aren't going to be able to find something. I thought for a second they might be bold enough to do it, but at the end of the day, they, you know, come to their senses, say, this is not the time to fight. We're still very far behind.
All right, I was going to say, sorry, I was like, again, it's been so long since the Qiyana game happened. Oh no, I'm not going to get to talk about it. Well, wait for a second, here comes Gnar. Xiaohu, TPing in. Now I know what it's like to be you, Lyrica's way. Gets in there, Xiaohu again, two-man Gnar. That's two clean ones already finished off. Supreme display of talent for the disengage, which is never how you want to see it used, and make it 3 for RNG. As, to be fair, Biopanther did kill Wei.
You know, and it doesn't matter how far behind you are. Seeing ults like that will always be beautiful and exciting. Pabu being a bit cheeky, trying to wait in the wings. If he can land a spear, maybe he can kill Cryin, but I think he would ultimately end up dying as well with both Ming and Xiaohu here.
Knows where Xiaohu is. Xiaohu's not going to spot him.
God.
Oh no, the recall interrupted. That is the worst timing ever. Pabu is going to be slain. No, he's going to get out safely, heals himself as he pops over the wall with the Pounce Towers being destroyed, though, in mid lane as the Dragon gets collected for RNG. And it's going to be one apiece. And the whole reason I tried to stop us earlier is because what Rift is it? Because Qiyana is the only champion that actively cares about what the Rift transformation is. It is going to be Ocean Soul, which is great for Qiyana, but this is a bad time for the rest of Pentana as Xiaohu almost finds yet another great Gnar ulti.
I also want to point out we are very much in LPL territory where we have 25 kills at 16 and 17 minutes. And we only have 2 Drakes. And in all this time, with all this skirmishing, all this fighting, objectives have not been the name of the game. We are looking for blood for the Blood God. We're going to go into this replay, see what happens. PGG trying to find the pick. PGG trying to find the pick. Not
we don't have time. The new Expert replay is going to have to hold for next time because there's a shutdown. But Praedyth, but Decoy is getting fired back on. And doesn't have his flash. He's just going to get sniped by Gala. But I mean, at this point, might have started cutting replays because every time we pop back, there's another replay they have to queue up because something else has been happening.
Yeah, RNG really taking this one aggressively again, and PGG are matching them every step of the way. For PGG, like, we can talk about their options, but I feel like even if you play around a side lane with Chazz and Pabu, finding a pick is going to be extremely hard. You don't expect Cryin to over push in a side lane if anyone's answering straight away.
All right, Pabu, goodbye. Oh. No, he's dead. Never mind. Dunkaroonie there from Volibear. Oh, what a great Q there for Gala. I keep thinking it's Nidalee, by the way, but it's not. It's Assassin Varus unstoppable there in the top side of the map as he takes down Chazz.
Pastry just doesn't stop. We just don't get to talk about any points. It's endless action here on the Rift. Rift Herald is up, so I guess RNG are going to take this one. But I can kind of understand where PGG are coming with, like, hey, we're so far behind. I'm sure they feel it, right? You see 20 to 90 kills. Let's flip as much as possible, but I feel like you should be looking for flips in, more advantageous positions, like, in Baron's up in front of a dragon.
All right, well, here comes Biopanther. He's 1 level down to Xiaohu. Xiaohu is almost mega, but this damage is good. Ulti's out. Needs a little bit more there for the execution. Xiaohu, that transforms at a very inopportune time for Biopanther, and Gnar is going to live.
Yeah, and Xiaohu respecting the fact that he didn't know where the members of PGG were. Praedyth.
Doesn't land it. Good crunch there for Xiaohu to get away.
Oh, God.
And now the collapse is coming. It's Ming again, so someone's dead on my screen as Ming does find the Zenith Blade onto Decoy. There's the Soul Flare comboing in, Cryin with way too much damage out of there. Ian Xiaohu collects a kill despite being pressured 1v3.
How many kills do you think we get up to in this game?
Ooh, that's a good question. I will take... Oh, actually, this game might not last that long. I want 50. I just don't know if we have enough time.
I'm saying 50. I think we're getting 50.
Let's go. I'm down for 50. This is not a replay, by the way. It's just Praedyth trying to assassinate Xiaohu.
Oh,
Same play here for PGG, but this time it might go the right way as Wei is going to roam back in and try and make something happen, but Praedyth is just losing this 1v1. Oh, what a great ulti there. Chazz gets knocked out of the incoming damage. Xiaohu is just so good on this champion as it's 2 more for RNG.
That was such an excellent understanding of his limits. I was sure Xiaohu was dead in that moment. Hops is able to get away. Instantly, Stridebreaker's back in, lays a ton of damage down onto Praedyth, stacks up the Mega Gnar bar as well so they can find those picks onto Pabu and Chazz.
All right, 18 to go. Until we hit 50 as RNG just continue racking them up. They're also 4 towers up to 0. I mean, they're up basically everywhere except dragons, but at this point, probably not going to matter too much. It's already 10,000 gold ahead for RNG. as they'll take down the tier 2 in bottom lane.
I feel like the thing that could potentially kill this 50-kill game dream is if we get a 5-man fight on top side of the map, you know, in the next 1 minute. Because then RNG are going to get Baron, they'll probably push down mid, and knowing PGG this game, they're going to try and fight them, and ultimately, yeah, the last nail in the coffin.
Yeah, we need to keep it isolated like this. This is good, yeah, 1v1. There we go, Biopanther gonna find himself the kill, but now Cryin's gonna come up to keep the 50-kill game alive. Biopanther about to get himself ulti. The celebrations in the PGG corner, perhaps a touch too early as Biopanther trying to find the outplays, but it's Cryin with the electrocute. No, not even. Just gets a kill there with a little dark sphere on the floor as Ming now under pressure. Chazz, no ulti just yet, but it's pretty close. Decoy just barely missing that hook, and it's a tragedy as Pabu is gonna have to get himself out of there, but Chazz says not yet. Now going to move himself in, gets the Q damage down onto Ming, throws Ming into the wall and grabs the kill as Pabu's running away from Wave. Volibear trying to take somebody else down here, but it's 4v2 right now for Pentanet. 3 now as Cryin reinforces. They're just so far ahead. Way is going to make it happen, diving into a literal 1v4. But there's the TP coming in as RNG look to reinforce, as now Cryo's going to back himself out of there. Has to dodge spears the whole time. Chazz, though, he's going to pay for that kill with his life, and he says it's absolutely worth it. Xiaohu's now chasing down Pabu, and if we get too many kills, Lyric, the game might end. But for now, it's just RNG pushing top lane.
It's limit testing and chaos everywhere. Look at PGG's positioning. It still looks like they're trying to catch someone.
It's Mega run away!
God.
Oh, Praedyth. Actually, what am I saying? More kills as Praedyth does get himself out over the wall, but has to burn the ulti over the wall with the blast cone. Looks to be ambitious. Does get himself killed as Biopanther still in the mix. No ulti. Oh, no, he does have it. I take it all back. Gets a kill with it indeed. In fact, it's going to be more there as PGG. They're fighting back there. Grab a couple kills for themselves.
Yeah, and PGG now, I wonder if they're going to be cheeky enough to try to turn this into a bear.
Of course they're doing it.
They don't have their AD carry up. I don't think they do this fast at all.
They're doing it. Whether they should do it is another question, but they're doing it.
I mean, really, what other options you have, right? Again, they know they're this far behind. Sure, you can't see gold values when you are in the game, but I'm sure they feel it. They can see the kill differentials. This could be the only chance you have to try to find a massive flip in your favor. And 10-second death timers, they're doing this a lot faster than I expected.
Yeah, Chazz actually not even on it. Urgot putting up numbers as the backup marksman there as Chazz gonna get himself assassinated, gets the ulti out in time though as Ming and Cryin likely to go down here. The Baron regen is happening though, so that's good news for Wei as he's trying to get back in there to look to take it down, but they know where he is because he popped the Herald. He's back up and available as now the Baron is still going, but it's doing so much damage here to Pabu. Praedyth, you gotta get in there, mate. DPS the raid boss, it's Ming! Focus the Baron first. There we go, they're gonna get it, Ming! Looks for the steal, doesn't grab it. He's gonna go down as a result. And you know what? We'll give him credit. Pentanet, they did the Baron they maybe shouldn't have done, but they did get it. As once again, Pentanet's popping off and Decoy will have to be sacrificed for the objective.
I love what this game has evolved into. RNG are playing so loose. Again, I don't like the term limit testing, but limit testing is kind of the name of the game. Chaos is the name of the game. You saw even earlier when PGG were dying, there were smiles, they were laughing. Like, I feel like they understood the state of the game on their half. And the fact that they were able to pull RNG into this kind of like fun silliness, this very brawly, very chaotic game, and find a bit of, I don't want to say an advantage, because look at the gold lead, RNG pick up another dragon, but find at least an avenue to get some gold back into their pockets, I think is great.
Yeah, certainly fun, and as RNG get the Baron, this game certainly could extend if it's being traded like this back and forth. The expectation, of course, that RNG are still too far ahead for it to matter, but hey, grabbing this Baron feels pretty good. Yeah,
and we're going to see here, right, Ming and Cryin come in. They're just trying to stop this Baron. I think they know they're not going to win this fight, 2v4. They try to pick off key members. Ming going to try and go for the steal, not going to find it, and yeah, that's kind of the name of the game, right? RNG were being too over-aggressive in topside. They got picked off. PGG doing a good job recognizing they could do the Baron, because again, when I looked at their comp, I thought, that might be a bit too slow, but nice understanding of how much DPS their champions can dish out.
All right, well, it's all smiles on the Pentanet side, which is always good to see. Also, we may have to change our estimate, Lyric, because we are from, 18 away for 4 kills away from getting 50. What a ulti there out of Cryin. Praedyth's in there. Goes gold now for Cryin, but he's surely dead on the end of it, and indeed, he will be. Pentanet are still fighting here. They're going to be brawling his way. He's going to get tossed into the enemy team and taken out as Pentanet find 2 off this Baron power play that they're still trying to build gold from.
Yeah, they can keep pushing, right? Biopanther's massive.
He's a crazy person. They're going in. It's going to be yet another kill. Surely going to make it happen. Indeed, they will as Biopanther puts Leona in the grinder. And they'll take this tower as well. You know what? It might not be pretty, but right now it's working.
And this gold lead has quickly fallen from 10,000 to only less than 6,000 for RNG. So PGG can keep going. Pabu's on the flank, only throwing out some spears. This is greedy, can get out of there, no problem.
Gets the tower, which is nice to see. As Pabu's immediately going to get away from Gala, which I think is certainly advised. Well, 1 kill away from 50 now, by the way. So what's the new estimate? Because we're surely going to get 50 at least.
I think we aim for 80. I think 75 feels too low. Feels too low, Pastry.
All right.
Hey,
all right. I'm here with you. We're in this together.
With this pace, with the lack of objective focus coming out from these teams right now, as we see on our screens.
What do you mean? The objective is kill the enemy. They're doing a great job.
That's true. They're getting gold from this. We see Wei and Cryin trying to find that pick. Again, it's a little bit egregious. Nice answer coming out from PGG, though. I really like Praedyth finding the killer instinct onto Cryin to find that kill. They keep pushing forward, and I also love that they realize, hey, Biopanther's massive right now. Look at his health bar. They can keep pushing and look for another kill under turret. And Xiaohu might be walking on a knife's edge.
Good spear from Pabu. Xiaohu, not that tanky actually. He's built quite aggressively this game. Got a Strikebreaker, Wit's End, and a Black Cleaver. So not as tanky as some Gnar builds, but got some natural durability as the Gnar, especially in Mega Form, but the Mini Form taking a pretty big whack to the face there with that Javelin. Chazz gonna have to get out of there and gonna be A-okay. As now I like this RNG, like, you know what? We're gonna start checking these brushes because we keep getting sprung on when we least expect it. As Pabu has exited the brush, he was camping for a moment.
Yeah, now, again, the thing I want to see from the side of PGG is if they can find a massive engage in a choke point. So if they can find, a fight in the jungle, I think that's really good for PGG because, again, you can hopefully... Praedyth might be caught out.
Oh, that Strikebreaker is so good, though. The follow-up is just there, but Praedyth's going to Killer Instinct out. The Varus ulti does not connect. So they survived the initial play, but Decoy maybe not so lucky as RNG is still running in there. Pabu, again, trying to find something, can maybe get the heals happening, but Volibear going to dive in. Xiaohu now Mega is going to grab the kill onto Decoy, and Chazz gets spotted, nailed by Cryin as Ming has the follow-up. Solar Flare and RNG have taken control of this mid-section of the map here. Not really many places for Pentanet to go.
I like that Cryin was very conscious of that Chazz was on the other side of that wall, because again, that's the kind of terrain, that's the kind of fight where Qiyana thrives if she can find the pick. RNG now with 2 kills should be able to take down this inhibitor turret. I think they should even be able to guarantee the inhibitor. I like what Pabu's doing, throwing off spears on the flank. Not really going to be able to land. And he does hit Ming in the end, but I don't think PGG can follow this up. Yeah,
tough to hit a really squishy target. Gala just has so many bodyguards in this scenario, so RNG do the right thing. They just take the inhibitor and go back, and as I say that, they turn it back around with a Varus ulti on the Biopanther, but he hops away. Xiaohu looking for the Gnar, finally misses one on camera. As Pabu actually fighting back in. Now Decoy's going to find the grab. They do get the ulti down, and Wei's going to fall. Drag it up in 25 seconds, but the rest of PGG are getting in there. Ulti out of naught, I believe, as Pabu's still trying to find the chase, but RNG will get away.
Yeah, but, sadly, Dragon's up in 15 seconds, so this could have been sole point for RNG, but this will be a free Ocean Drake for the side of PGG. Going to be able to punch back, and again, gold lead just still kind of slowly decreasing. We're still at about the 5K mark, so what we've been at for the past few minutes, but I think PGG feel fine the longer the game goes. Again, they have that Kaisa. They do have the tanky frontline in the Urgot and the Nautilus as well, to where I feel like Qiyana will also be able to do a lot more than Cryin on the Syndra in the later stages.
Yeah, I mean, not the easiest champion to play when the game goes late, but your ulti is very powerful in any sort of AoE teamfight, especially around objectives, so you can get it done. I think Syndra can output a ton of DPS as well, so Cryin's not going to be useless, certainly, but I do agree that, both mid laners going to struggle to find their place if the game goes very late, which it may go, especially if we're trying to get all the way to 80 kills, which could be a fun one, but Pentanet not out of this yet. Get that dragon, even that up. They're going to be playing for potentially quite a much longer game than we expected, given how things all kicked off, but there is a Baron back up as well, so both teams eyeing that objective for now.
I also want to touch on the Wit's End coming out from Xiaohu. It did get buffed this patch. It gained 10 extra AD because the recipe did change. It did gain a longsword instead of building out of a dagger like it did before. But I'm a bit surprised he bought it against the team comp that PGG had, because even with the buff, from talking to pros, it's still viewed as a very niche item that's, picked into heavy magic damage or magic damage lanes especially. And, I mean, we're really only looking at the Nidalee and obviously the mixed damage coming out from the Kaisa as well, so not sure it's the most efficient buy for Xiaohu.
Well, it is fun. Xiaohu is certainly having some fun this game. Hit some great Gnar ultis as Pentanet still have to kind of plug the leak in their mid lane because the inhibitor is still streaming super minions through. But RNG going to dip back into the Fog of War, and again, they can fall back to Baron whenever they feel like they have the space to, and that's why Pentanet have to just push up mid and try and get whatever coverage they can because they need every bit of vision they can scramble for, which is not going to be too much given RNG's current map position.
And, you know, vision's obviously always important in a game of League of Legends, but I feel like even more so in this game for both of these comps because they both want to find picks in very different ways, right? We talked about how it's going to be about like Chazz either finding flank angles, finding if he can like push out a side lane and trying to wrap around from behind. And for the side of RNG, it's going to be about denying vision and using long-range skill shots like either the Chains of Corruption or the Scatter the Weak to try to instantly burst out a member of PGG while they are trying to retake vision. So vision denial going to be extremely important for both sides when it is about these pick comps.
All right, Biopanther going to get slow but a soul for Xiaohu. Stride breaking in. There's the ulti. Oh, sorry, Zenith Blade, sorry. As Biopanther getting low, and he's actually going to be taken out here. I like the target selection, but he's going to finally fall to Ming's Ignite. Pentanet, though, trying to fight their way back in, but it's Pabu looking for a big flank as well. He's just going to dive in there. Gala able to take down Decoy. Looks like it's kind of falling apart here for Pentanet as Xiaohu on a killing spree takes out Praedyth and Chazz. Just no entry into the fight as Pabu's going to make it 4 now as Gala grabs the double kill, and RNG just going to walk it down mid and end the game.
80 kills was a bit too ambitious. We'll see if Chazz can save it, but I think RNG just going to find the win. Was a lot closer than we expected, though, Pastry.
Hit 50, we're happy with that. RNG are going to put the finishing touches on the enemy nexus. Xiaohu is going to grab the ace, and RNG are going to make it 6-0 in their group.
And again, RNG playing a bit loose. It was a bit more chaotic. You can see there was not a huge like objective focus in this game. I love how willing PGG were willing to fight back. Let's remember that early solo kill coming out from Chazz was hype as can be, and then they started using that to turn that into bot side pressure. So just really wanting to highlight PGG because it did feel like they put up a great fight and had some pretty good ideas of how to play with their composition.
Yeah, and you know, the kind of game, honestly, that like, you know that the expectations aren't that high for you. You're expecting to lose, even though you are certainly trying to make things happen in the early game. But again, it's all about thinking about that game later in the day, that game 5 they have up against Unicorns. And this is the kind of like looseness, the kind of aggression we do want to see, because I think that's how Pentanet are going to find their stride against Unicorns of Love. And again, they may have to play them more than once if they want to make it out. So Pabu feeling sad, but it is a fun game overall there for Pentanet, and they will be back for more, especially against Unicorns in game number 5. After the break, though, we're going to be hearing from Pentanet's Chazz as he and the rest of the team now look ahead